Hi, this is Brandy.
And this is Todd.
And today we are at the Nice train station. We are about to get on a 3-hour train ride across the south of France for a last-minute trip to go to the US Consulate. Now, why? Well, because after months, and I do mean months, of gathering every single document we thought we could possibly need to apply for the French health insurance system, we've hit a major stumbling block. And actually one so big, it's threatening to derail the entire application.
This is a video we wish that somebody else would have made for us before we start applying for the Carte Vitale.
And ladies, listen up. This video, specifically for you.
And it has to do with a name change. Moving to France, it's the dream, right? You picture the beautiful beaches, the food, the wine. But what you don't picture is weekends spent hunched over a scanner trying to get a perfectly pristine, clear PDF scan of a document that was created in, last century, say 1996. And you got to get it perfectly centered. Friends, this is the reality of dealing with French bureaucracy.
Now, it's not like the system was designed to be difficult just for the fun of it. At least I don't think it was. It's just that the French do record keeping a little differently than how we do it in the United States, and major milestones are recorded in different ways. Now, we thought we had everything, but the French system required a level of documentation that we did not see coming, especially for one of the most common things in the world, changing your name after marriage. Now, when you Google the documents you need for your Carte Vitale, the list actually seems easy enough. And we were like, we totally got this. First, we had the application itself. Then you need proof of identity. And for us, obviously, it's our passports. You'll also need to show a copy of your long-stay visa. And this is really critical, the printout confirming that you validated your visa online. You do this when you get to France, you get online, you validate your visa, tell them that you're here, and they give you a document that says, yes, you have validated it. Now, we either didn't get the email saying it was validated or we threw it away or something, but we could not find this document and it caused quite a panic. We were eventually able to get onto the website that we did the validation on and find a copy of it there. But just beware, if you get an email saying you validated your visa, hang on to that. Next, you need proof that you actually live here. We thought our electrical bill would suffice for that, but we're actually working with a consultant to review all of our documents before we submit them. And he said, no, don't submit your electrical bill. Not sure why, but he told us a better document to submit was something called a quittance. And this is essentially a receipt of rental payment.
Then you're going to need your birth certificate. And yeah, that has to be translated by a certified translator, that is certified by the French government. For married couples, you're going to have to add your marriage certificate to the pile. And yes, that has to be translated. Okay, so then you have to add information from your French bank account. We don't have a physical French bank. We have an online bank called Revolut, which we really like. And that seems to work just fine because all you really need is a French IBAN number. We gathered all this information. We sent it to our consultant that we're using just to make things easy on us and to make certain that we're getting everything right. And wouldn't you know it, he just threw it all right back at us. Okay, one of these scans didn't have a white background. We had to rescan it. One of the scans just was a little off because we'd slightly cut off like a millimeter of the bottom of the passport. That one had to be redone. So we spent an entire weekend rescanning, reloading, because these scans have to be pristine, folks. Yes, they have to be perfect. We can't give the French authorities any reason not to accept our application. Okay, so we're in Marseille. We made it to Marseille, and we're outside the US Consulate. Our consultant let us know that we were missing a critical piece of paperwork, and without it, the application was going to be delayed. So we also had to stumble with translation. And in France, you can't just use any translator. It must be a translator that is certified by the French court. Without official translation services, your file is just going to be tossed back at you. Doesn't matter how perfect the translation is. Your French may be perfect. You can't translate it. It has to be translated by an official government translator, and then it has to be stamped, because then it's a legally binding document, and that's the only way that the French are going to accept it.
But the real crisis, and the one that stopped us dead in our tracks, was actually my name change. Now, this is going to affect so many people, especially if you've been maybe married before, but the French are going to be incredibly particular about your name. The French administration demands a complete, unbroken chain of evidence for any name change. So they want to see everything from your maiden name to how you got to your married name. Because I'd been married once before, that meant supplying an old marriage certificate and a divorce decree and a name change document. But the real problem came when I married this last time. I dropped my middle name and used my former last name as my middle name. I was still using that name professionally, and I didn't want to lose it altogether. So I kept it as my middle name and dropped my former middle name. Well, this means that my marriage certificate didn't quite exactly match up with my passport, my social security card, or my visa. And this was going to cause a big problem.
Oh, sorry. Only now he tell me it's not allowed.
Okay.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Carry on. Jeez.
Okay, so they just asked us to move and not film anymore in front of the consulate, so here we are. But my problem was I didn't have a paper trail showing the drop of my middle name because we didn't need to do that in Texas where we lived. And the consultant said, yeah, that wasn't gonna fly. You needed something to show that extra step. There's a document called an Attestation of Identification. It took us a while to figure out exactly what we needed. We ended up having to email the embassy, but they were able to tell us that this is the document that should work. There's never any guarantees, but that is why we trekked over here today, because not only does that attestation of identification have to be filled out, it has to be notarized by the US government. So that's why we're here today, and hopefully it'll go smoothly. Well, that took all of 10 minutes, and it was very easy. We are already back at the Marseille train station ready to head home. So I walked into the embassy. Todd couldn't come with me. I had to go by myself because I was the only one with the appointment. Sat in a waiting room for a few minutes and eventually was called up, handed them my paperwork and my passport, raised my right hand, swore that the information on the paperwork was correct, and they gave me a very fancy US Consulate stamp on the paperwork, and I paid $50. So now we're headed back to Nice. We will be submitting our entire application next week. And, it's never guaranteed. They could come back in a couple of months and say, hey, we need something in a different format, or we want a different piece of paperwork. But we can cross our fingers and wish us luck that this will work.
A bientôt, training.